Hello, hello. What's going on out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all that good stuff? Go ahead and switch to my live screen now before I forget. I tend to do that sometimes. Well, what's going on? This is No Noise Research. I am Z-Rex. I'll be walking you through this crazy crypto journey here tonight. It is September 3rd. Around 11 o'clock here, Central Time. It'll be like Chicago, probably the big city most people would reference for that, or maybe Dallas. I guess maybe Austin's getting big enough, I'm not sure. That's where we're coming at you from. And so, price has been kind of boring. We're going to talk about a few things. There's some BitMex news, a little change on a contract. Good old PayPal CEOs at it again, talking that smack, of course. Ooh, guy, if that felt burned, taking them loans out at all-time highs to get long. Bad idea. And Alibaba and Chinese patents for blockchain in general are pretty serious right now. They have over half of all the patents being applied for last year. So let's go ahead and jump in to a few things here. The BitMex news, if you use BitMex, you know, US people can't use BitMex, right? I don't know, someone told me about a VPN or something, I'm not sure. Wink wink, right? Everybody knows it doesn't work, whatever. So this will bring, they're adding just one more person to the index, so that's cool. So it used to just be Bitstamp in Coinbase Pro. So now it'll be a third Bitstamp, a third Coinbase Pro, and a third Kraken. Oh, I know, the one that y'all really wanted to see on there. Despite Kraken's terrible interface, they still are around and strong, and everyone uses them. They seem to have lots of respect in the game. Maybe their API is really good. I'm not sure. I don't trade that way, but maybe that's possibly the deal. It's fast on the back end. I don't know what else it could be, because that front end for average users is garbage. But if you don't know, this starts Sunday, the 16th of September. So got a couple weeks on there. But that will be applied to the perpetual, which is probably the thing that most people use. So there you go. Options products. I don't think they have good options products over there. I think they're like binary, like just up or down type options. Those suck. Those aren't real options. Deribit has real options though. They're the only one I know of at the moment. Oh, LedgerX does, but I think you have to be accredited in the US to use them, if I'm not mistaken. All right, here we go. Let's get into some of that China blockchain action with patents. Alibaba alone accounts for 10% of them. So that's pretty interesting. Let's go look at Alibaba's chart, actually, which is just Baba. Ooh, it's got a nest. I guess I drew a rounded top on this a while ago. Yeah, it's not the best looking chart, but you know, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, so there's Alibaba sitting around 175 bucks with all-time highs around 200. They account for 10% of all blockchain related patents filed in 2017. China alone, like I said earlier, is 56%. Jesus. And that is a total of 406 total patents worldwide. If you wanted to kind of know, that's not that many for the whole world, to kind of think about it. So the next country behind that is the United States, though, with 22%. So I would have not guessed that it was the US, but yeah, the US is kind of sneaky. So they're like, yeah, this magic internet money, get that out of here. Hey, man, are y'all filing for all those blockchain patents over there? It's like Jamie Dimon coming out and saying, oh, Bitcoin, this scam thing, and then JP Morgan is like the third largest buyer of the European Bitcoin ETF and have been for years. It's like, so he was pretty much doing that as well. It's like, oh, that scam over there, and then turning his head and be like, hey guys, Did y'all buy that billion of Bitcoin this week? Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, it's such a scam. So funny, these bankers, man. So, Alibaba's Jack Ma, which is CEO, he refers to blockchain as a game changer for the world. He's also launched Alipay. You know, everybody has that. Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, PayPay. Everyone's just getting their own pay. Blockchain tech, he says, traditional financial institutions serve 20% of the people and make 80% of the profits. New financial institutions should service 80% of people and make 20% of profit. Yeah, blockchain could definitely, you know, open that path up for sure. We'll see what happens though, because it can very much easily get conquered too, right? Some people actually think that has already possibly happened. It will be tough. Oh, there's so many blockchains. That's why this is so exciting. Crypto finally getting the wheels turning, and we're not even close to kind of like some mainstream adoption yet. You know, I know everybody kind of thinks that from last year, but that was still very much echo chamber. And you're like, well, it was on CNBC. Everyone said it. Yeah, it's only because price went a little bit higher, but then that's all they thought about it. That no one really, they're like, oh, it's 15 or 20K for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then it crashed. No one was like, oh, well, let me go see what blockchain does and what Ethereum does and all these smaller projects and like really understand. You know, it's like the internet. No one really got it. They thought it was a joke. Like, oh, why are you taking pictures of articles and putting them online? That's dumb. No one's going to look at that. And then now that's like how everyone pretty much reads stuff. So yeah, it's not, the adoption is super low. A lot more people know about it now. They've heard of Bitcoin, but man, even go to a simple test. So if you go out to eat, just always ask. Be like, hey, do y'all take Bitcoin? Just always ask. Or say cryptocurrency, if you want to be more generic. And you'll be kind of shocked that I would say the majority of people still are like, huh? What the hell is that? Alright, let's see here. People's Bank of China has filed the largest number of blockchain-related patents in 2017 with 68. So Alibaba's was 43. The PBOC was 68, and Bank of America sneaking in there with 33. Oh, BOA. Which is kind of interesting to me, because, like, man, no one thinks about Bank of America really anymore. Especially after, you know, the financial crisis and stuff. It's like, they're still there, and apparently really digging into the crypto space, so that's interesting. But yeah, of course, the PBOC, they like to get into the tech world. China is very aggressive, so that's not surprising. Alright, PayPal guy. We talked about this a little while ago. They're just bringing it up again, and it's not even a new article. I don't know why they're saying this, but the reason I really wanted to mention it is because this guy's kind of funny. He says, the cult of Bitcoin make many claims that it's instant, free, scalable, efficient, secure, globally accepted, and useful. It is none of those things. That's pretty harsh to say, and I was, come on, that's a little rough, bro. That's not fair. Not true, but you know, he's PayPal. That's gonna, like, Bitcoin and cryptos are gonna crush PayPal. PayPal and like eBay is actually starting their own processing, merchant processing, and payments processing, so they're not even, and their contract runs out with PayPal pretty soon, so they won't even need PayPal. That's probably like half of PayPal's revenue is just from eBay, so they're probably just kind of desperate. But what's funny is, I'm sure all of y'all have seen the CNBC contrarian like entry, that guy that made it on TradingView got a lot of love for that, which he should have. That was an awesome chart, just putting all the tweets, and it was like 95% accurate or whatever. So this, I didn't think like, oh man, this should be thrown on there, right? Bitcoin bulls beware, CNBC's. It was August 14th, and so I looked at that when I just saw this article and kind of put that together. I was going to show y'all, so I looked at that and it was pretty funny. Oh, CNBC, you're so cute. Here's the 14th, is this candle, literally this hammer candle. Oh man, is that not just hilarious, guys? I mean, CNBC, they just FOMO in. They're just like they're like your parents or something. You know, they're gonna be the latest to the party. It's almost not even malicious. They just hire people that are kind of just regular peeps that get the FOMO, like my dad did in December. He's like, "What? I gotta get some of this. It sucked at 300. It's dope though at like 17,000." Pretty hilarious. I'm sure a lot of y'all know someone that falls under that category. Here's that guy over here in Abu Dhabi. Apparently it's easy to get loans there, because there was another story about a guy taking out a bunch of money and then just losing it all, pretty much like 90+%. So another dude did the same thing, took out about 100K, and he plowed it. He plowed the lot, man, of all the altcoins. So you know he lost all that money. Especially in December, that's rough. Ouch. It hurts my gut a little bit. So he has to pay about 2/3 of his $3,200 a month salary to go for that loan. It was about just like that other guy's. I guess it's just easy to get loans there. Here's a pretty funny picture. Little clown nose. Hey man, it's not his fault. We've all FOMO'd into something, man. That's how you first learn, especially if you don't pay for education or have a mentor, or just trade really small. You can also do that. That works as well, especially in crypto. You can trade with like dollars. It's a beautiful thing, and it's actually getting a lot of people into finance and money, which is even more beautiful. That's what I really love about crypto. They're like caring about that stuff. No one, you know, I'm older millennial, and you know, my parents, most parents, I think, if you're between 20 and like 40, you know, they're like, what? Don't care about none of that money. No, we just go to a bank and put it in a safety deposit box. Those are totally, it's safe, man. It's in the name. You know, it's the bank. It's like, well, what about just a safe in your house? It's like our grandparents, like people that are 70 and up, they're like, what? No, we're using a safe in the house, boy. Bolt that shit to the floor. You ain't taking it. Yeah, it's just kind of the shift in the boomers, the marketing that went into all of that, and consumerism really rose hardcore. Anyway, I could talk about that for a whole show on its own. Let's move on. Back to crypto. Charlie Shrem has been making the rounds. I think he's going to be talking somewhere close to here in the next couple months. But yeah, he's making the rounds, talking to people. That's awesome. He should be out there chatting it up. He knows a lot about the crypto space. And I generally agree with most everything he says. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He said new crypto investors should ignore volatility and just hold for 5 years. That's pretty solid advice. You know, I've talked about DCAing, especially from these prices, is really good. Not so much in December. That was not a time to buy at all. Not when, you know, your parents are asking you, or your friends that thought crypto was dumb as hell like a year or two ago when you told them, and then they're like texting you, hey man, how can I buy some Bitcoin? Yeah, then you know it's not time to buy. Just be patient. It's an important part in trading successfully. Patience, one of the most important. So he's out there chatting it up at the Yahoo Finance Money Show conference in San Francisco. I might be going to, or I am going to, the one in Vegas. It's not the Money Show, it's the Traders Expo. And Shrem's going to be there, but now they have a whole crypto section of the conferences, but you have to pay extra for those. And I believe it's like a couple $100. So it's probably worth it. I'm probably going to do it. And I'm at least going there, and I'll probably just check it out and feel it out and then buy a ticket at the front there, you know, just in case. because these are like really corporate events, and sometimes they just get a little too sleazy with their sales and stuff like that. So anyway, just go to one and you'll see what I'm saying. There's value there. You meet a lot of like-minded people, some people that are not even big, that are working on projects, kind of promoting their stuff on the low, just walking around. Like it's worth more of that than networking, as most conferences are, right? But anyway, he says, yeah, just learn to have fun with it, and sometimes they'll break, and sometimes prices go down, but just hodl it, bros. Hodl, bro. Just hold for 5 years. I kind of like that idea, because that's a trade in itself. You can do that. You buy it, you know it can go to zero. Your timeline's about, I don't know, 5-10 years. Or maybe 5 or 10 years, or let's say if it goes to 50 grand, then you sell half of it into dollars. But, you know, do definitely have a target. Don't just hold it indefinitely. I don't know if that's... Maybe hold some indefinitely, but you got to scalp some of that off of there. Just a little bit. Although my friend had a good point that just use the dividends from... and dividends on coins, meaning like a fork. Just use those as like kind of play money, because it was just like free anyway. It's like, man, that's a good point. We haven't seen a Bitcoin fork in a while though. We probably have to get a little bit more, like above 10,000 to see that. Well, I guess Richard Hart's doing one pretty soon. It's a Bitcoin hex forked onto Ethereum. Whoa, that's so silly. All right, let's go into markets. Enough about this stupid news. All right. Here is the market cap. We are still sitting almost exactly where we were at when I did the video yesterday, about 237. So, same thing, same shit, different day. I'd like to see a little push to at least 250. It seems likely, as I talked about, getting into this area and just going sideways would be okay. But one thing that does suck about this is the volume is just meh. And it actually tapered off from this initial pump. So let's see that pick up here fairly soon. That would be nice. I guess holiday, though. There was a holiday in the US for Labor Day today. So now we've got the 4-day week is starting because markets were closed, and there's payrolls on Friday as well. So this should be a fun week. All right, let's just go look at some big movers in the last 24 hours since we last talked. Let me get all these crap coins out of here, or at least some of them. I like to just do around like 500 million filter, and you don't get so much shit. Oh, Monero. Yeah, we talked about a Monero a few days ago, or maybe it was like 4 or 5 days ago. I don't know, it was around like $105 or something when we were talking about how good it looked. I should have got more in with my paper trade because I was super bullish on it, and it has played out very nicely. Wow, it's up to 136 already. Way to go, Monero. Let's see what else is going. VeChain, Neo, OMG. We also talked about that as well. One of my friends brought that up a long time ago when they were doing some big things. I believe they actually have some real use case. You know how 99% of them don't. I think they're one of those that do. Even a recent index, I can't remember who created it. It was about a week or two ago. I did discuss it on a video. They're timestamped too if you want to check them out, so you can easily navigate, etc. But we saw them get added to a large firm's index, like their top 10 weighted cryptocurrency index, and they left out Ripple, but put OMG in there. Omisco. So that was kind of interesting. Maybe they're kind of a little diamond in the rough. Alright, let's jump into the BTC, Big Mama. See what's going on. Nothing too exciting since yesterday. Actually hanging out all inside of this little tiny spinning top. is what a lot of people will reference that to. Volume sucked on it, so it's kind of not as important. Really, this price level is getting rejected again at this trend line cross, which we've been talking about the last few days. I mean, it's like almost closing right at it at 7,300. And the cross comes up in, what is that, 3 days, so this week. So time-wise, there should be a very, or some movement coming in, whether it's continuation, but I would imagine this one's going to be kind of large, because it's been kind of almost coiling up in this nice little channel, but upwards, see, right here. Oh, let me go ahead and go to the big screen. There we go. So this is looking really interesting. I'm still slightly bullish. Let's see, internals are pretty good on the oscillators. You got the daily is over still on about the 25, 26 area on DMI, which is what I like to look for to show strength. You could think of it as RSI over, you know, 65, 70, and not in the overbought, oversold sense. That just means that it's showing strength or weakness, not you need to sell it immediately. All right, so it looks pretty decent on the daily, and since we just did start it, I mean, it's like 11, yeah, so it was just a few hours ago, or 4 hours ago. It's we still got a long time to go to see where price action will bring us. I think holding 71.50 area, like 71, 71.50. I would like to see that for some nice bullishness, but there is a really high chance that we pull back to and slap 7,000 real fast. I would not be surprised to see that at all. Let's see what the 4 hour or anything is giving us some hints for that. We still are showing divergence on RSI. We drew this back over here, and so still on this recent attempt that touched the line and got rejected once more, showed divergence, and the DMI actually started showing divergence too now, which that did not happen when you could have seen it already in the RSI. So that is definitely noteworthy. That is kind of a new milestone for some TA, and that's what you have to wait for. That's why patience is really key, and sometimes not trading is the best trade. A lot of times actually you shouldn't even be in a trade unless you have really crazy and strict risk management rules, but that you know, that's more advanced traders are doing that, but most traders shouldn't be in trades like the majority of the time. Only when things line up really well and the odds are really, the probabilities are very high. So we are about, so 72 right now is the 21 exponential on the 4 hour. And like I said, I like to give a little extra space, so I think 71.50-ish, 71 is a good stopping point, or right around this blue trend line, but definitely testing the 55 EMA or 7K is in the cards. Let's see if we can see that on the 1 hour or anything. Yeah. You are getting the RSI curling down, and the bears are creeping up on the 1 hour as the bull. It's like getting very neutral. And so yeah, so this is getting a little bit more likely here, at least in the hour. Like, this could just be really fast. And you know, y'all know this isn't even like, people get scared when Bitcoin just moves like $100. It's really crazy. Like, oh, it's crashing, it's going to 3,000. It's a sell-off. It's a $100 move. It's like, no, that's not that. Bitcoin does that all the time. It moves $100 every other day or something. But anyway, so you go down here multiple times a day, usually. So, I mean, this can just kind of do a little crash test here to this trend line, which it has touched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... like at least 5 times. It could easily go for a 6 while it coils up into this, because it's going to be way harder to break this red trend line, which goes back to, let's go to the daily so it's easier to see. That goes back all the way here to that sell-off in January. So, and the last time it tried, it did fail, so it's got like, it's extra strong. That's why I changed it to red, actually, the other day. And we are a little high above the blue dots here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some candles like this be forming, even if we're still bullish. Just a little bit. Get a little bit of a sell. Yeah, so that's about it for the Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and check out, see if Ethereum's playing around on the Bitfinex. Oh my goodness, Ethereum on what we drew the other day, the kind of trade setup, just looks like it's going to, depending if you use an hourly or a 4-hour, you got 30 minutes. 30 minutes if it doesn't come back up inside of that, and then it would close you out. The 4-hour, you'd be waiting about 3.5 hours. Or there's two different ways to play stops. As soon as price gets there, you can just close it, or you can wait for the close, right? Did that just drop right there? Like, did that just happen? It did. Okay, so wow, there you go. As I'm talking literally live, we just had added like a nice little tail to that candle coming out of here. Now let's see if it closes. It's got to close all the way back up here though to 285. So the dark red was the initial risk that you had set, and then this lighter red, that means you're past what you set. This is like, whoa dude, why are you even in this trade anymore, right? And depending if you wait for closes, which will be in 30 minutes on the hour, or if you just wait for price to cross it, and that's something you have to decide on your own, which kind of risk management you want to use, and depending on your personality is probably going to decide that. So again, here we go, Ethereum, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and like get that because it's out of there. We are still in this green box though, right? But Ethereum has just been looking weak this whole time, even while we had this little rally. We cannot get over the 21 daily EMA. That's ridiculous. All right, that means you weak. That means you're being kind of scrub-tastic. And we are still very neutral on the daily and kind of weak on the RSI. So on the daily as well. 4-hour neutral. About the same, nothing any different. This boring sideways price action, as we talk about a lot in the last few days, doesn't really let the oscillators give you much info. So we still, Ethereum has just been so boring since the mid-August, since like the 15th of August, since CNBC tweeted Bitcoin bulls beware or something. We've just gone sideways. Everyone's confused. Let's go to Litecoin. Just gotta wait for price to tell y'all. Just wait for price to tell you, man. Wow, Litecoin is continuing to kind of show a little bit of strength. There's slight divergence on the DMI, not as much on the DMI, but on RSI it's definitely showing. But it's nothing too crazy. It really depends on what happens in the next this week, pretty much. How funny. On Litecoin, if we can get above this, then it'll give us some energy to probably at least test this 72 level. But as time goes by, we have been targeting the middle of this channel, which is this purple hash. And so as time goes by, I do know that that hash comes down. Okay, so I'm still thinking like if we close above 67, 80s to like 68, we can probably run up to like low 70s. And that might be a very nice low risk trade that I'm looking to put on here if Litecoin can get there. All right, let's go to the rips. Everyone loves the rips. Oh, we're kind of getting outside of the zone here. On the 4-hour, it is out of it, but this is already kind of loosely drawn, you know. That's why trend lines aren't the best, because you do have to adjust them a lot. Yeah, trend lines are okay. They're almost better at like deciding kind of the ranges where they cross at. Like even if you drew this, where's the tip of it? Here it is. So let's draw it kind of like, let's say you only use wicks. I usually like to use bodies. So if you only used wicks, then it would be like that, right? And then it broke, then you could kind of do it like that, and now it's here. And so would you do it like that? But notice where this price is, about 35 cents. Even if you kind of put it here, it's still at like 35.6 cents. Okay. So it gives a nice range of support or resistances depending on, you know, how price action is laid out on your chart and where the trend lines are drawn. Horizontals are generally better support and resistance than any kind of angled line, but that's why, you know, price is just kind of the best, because you want to like look at it to the left right here. You're going to have real good support in this area, even if it busted out of this trend line, because, you know, everyone's watching the same movie, so everyone can get faked out because it's like this, and now everyone's like, oh, it's total sell-off, and sell it just a little bit, get everyone short, and then rip face. And they do that to the upside too all the time. It's you know, to continue selling it off. But on oscillators, we're totally neutral on XRP now. We were a little bit bullish yesterday and the day before, and now it's gone to pretty damn neutral. On the daily though, you could argue it's still alright. You got the blue support right here at 32.5 cents. It's neutral. I don't have a position in it, if that means anything. Let's look at ETC, the Ethereum Classic. Where is that dot? There it is. So ETC is holding it down pretty well. We drew this little setup here, and got up well into it, about a third. We talked about even managing it here at the longest term exponential here, that it would have a tough time, so you could take part of the trade off. Nothing wrong with doing that, because again, you can always buy back in if it breaks out. Adding to winners is it's tough. It's a tough trade to do, but it's usually a good idea. So this is not too shabby here, kind of just bouncing out around, making some new highs, kind of coming up here to test maybe 15. Ethereum Classic showing a little bit of relative strength. Let's go to the daily and look at some oscillators. Yeah, so after today's close, Ethereum Classic is actually looking bullish on the RSI and on the DMI. So that is very noteworthy. That's good. I do have a paper position in ETC. Good old paper trading. Yeah, on the 850 looks good too. So I'd like to really, almost where the entry was on this example is a stop kind of now, because that's where the 21 is. You got the blue, you got a lot of stacking indicators there, and lots of business going all the way back over here to mid-June. So there's lots of volume and liquidity in this zone. All right, let's go to the Bitcoin shorts. Have they gone up more? Oh, not Euro. We want USD. No, they haven't. We put in a little hammer kind of doji here, and now we're kind of selling off a little bit. This spike was crazy, y'all. I'm not really sure. I guess people are, I don't know, like people are just denying these rallies, and maybe everyone's like, no, this isn't going up, it's done. We're going to 5K still. I mean, everyone's like kind of bullish, but they're very cautiously bullish, you know, myself included. And oh man, yeah, this is just this is pretty wild. It's the biggest short increase ever since this since we've had data to chart this back to September. So there's been some on the downside that were that big, but not on the upside. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited for the rest of September. Let's jump over to regular markets. The ES, that's the E-mini futures contract. These markets will be fully open. The futures were open for limited time because of Labor Day, but they are fully open for regular session tomorrow. So that should be pretty fun. You can see some trendline action happening here. About like that. Kind of hovering around the 55 and 21. So it's looking, you know, of course there's no volume on this. It's the overnight sessions are really, really low in volume. It's mostly like computers just kind of trading with each other. I guess it mostly is that anyway. Yeah, but these are the regular session hours. You can see where the volume gets substantial. So, and that's 8:30 Central Time, Chicago time. And so we're battling here, stacking it. Price is stacked on it. Resistance is stacked. We are in a super tight range right here at about 2,900 to 2,910. Probably won't take a trade on this until it breaks out of one of those sides. I'm going to keep it simple. That's the best way to do it when you trade. Oscillators are looking good all the way up to the weekly. Let's just look at the monthly because you can definitely do that on traditional equities. Let's see here. Oh, supercharged. Man, it looks... Look at where DMI got on this monthly up here by 40. It's like beast mode. Even the RSI was like way up here at, let's see what that is. 86. Jeez. Yeah, that's pretty damn strong, I would say. Careful trying to short that one. I've tried to short very bullish markets just to let you know. I'll show you one. It's pretty bad. I've probably talked about it before on here. So here's Nvidia. Now what's double extra worse? I'll explain it here in a second. Here's Nvidia. I was like, what, man? Nvidia? Psh, yeah, that's crazy. It can't go over like $100, man. There's no way. All right in here. I'm like selling call spreads, which are a type of options trade that gets you short delta. So which means if the price goes down, you get kind of a percent, whatever the delta is, you're getting a percentage of that down move. So for every dollar of value it goes down, maybe you capture, like maybe a -50 delta, you would get 50 cents to the dollar. So you'd get about half of the move. So if Bitcoin goes down $1,000, it would be like only equivalent to 500 in your position. And that could be on either side as well. So Nvidia, I started doing that and getting short. And I was like, oh, yep, see, I told you. And then it just started blowing out and was like, screw all the shorters. And then I tried to do it again at 200. And then I was just like, all right, I can't, this sucks. This is crap. Screw you, Nvidia. But really, I was being so dumb and not thinking in the bigger picture, knowing that Nvidia was creating GPUs that mined. And why wasn't I long that? I was all into crypto already, like deep already in 2017, and before that, and like trading all the time with both of them. And then I'm like, no, Nvidia, short that one. It's like so funny how blind you can be to something that's so obvious. Humans, our brains are not wired to be traders. That's why you have to work on your risk management and your psychology, and only when you get signals and the things you can control, which is order entry and your risk, that's what all you got to focus on. Don't focus on anything else. No price moves, no news. News is the worst thing to focus on. Ugh. All right, let's go to the NASDAQ. That's in Q. Gosh, still looking super bullish. I'm really interested to see how tomorrow opens. All right, let's go to gold. Oh, wait, oil. I forgot oil. Got to do the oil. Still looking kind of... It's gone to kind of neutral. I thought that the bulls are going to be able to close over this 6 or 26 area that we like to see to show strength. But, like back over here when they did, or back over here when they did, and then run up happened. Back over here they did. Only a short one. That one got sold off, but it turned into a run up with double confirmation right here. So a lot of times, you know, this is kind of looking more, see, there's not even a, nope. I guess maybe kind of like setting up like this. It's hard to tell. It's kind of neutral in that respect. Price actions boxed in at 69.5 and 70.5 pretty much. So that's your range. I'm not really going to add any positions on to this unless it breaks that range. All right. Gold. Holding on for dear life. And that's not hodl, I know. That's what everybody thinks. CNBC was talking about that. But at least they corrected it. What's his name? That crypto kid dude. Yeah, so here you go. Can't get over the 21 exponential on the daily, and outside of this channel, there is major support at 1200. It breaks that. We definitely are going to probably test these lows right here. It's pretty simple. If it breaks and can close above the 21 exponential, depending when that happens, you can kind of target the bottom part of this channel. So if it kind of coils up, it's probably not going to take that long. So it's either going to kind of come up here and test some of this, maybe even get back into it, but something tells me it's probably going to be relatively boring, if not bleed out slowly. All right, final thoughts to give you some reminders on the BTC, and I'll be signing off. Again, we have this trend line, major resistance, got rejected here. Fake out rejected. Didn't fake out this box that we have drawn on here, though. It went right to it. Got rejected from the box, but, you know, this could have got you really long and trapped, and could hurt bad. Hurt real bad. Especially on some leverage. I actually did part of that. It was really stupid. In my video, I talk about it and outline all the reasons and the stupidity, and y'all should check it out. It's really good. I'm going to document my major F-ups like that to hopefully so you can learn from them, and it helps me learn from them too, just like talking about them like that and putting it out and making kind of a show about it. It's very helpful. So you got the 21 exponential about to cross over the 55 here soon. It's pretty much going to do that unless price just crashes like hardcore below 7,000. I don't think that that's likely. I think we'll still chop in this range until tonight when we got... Okay, yeah, so we're about to open everything here. Asia, Europe, everyone's about to get up here soon. So that'll be good. Or Europe, I'm sorry. Asia, I believe, is already up. But, yeah, so support at about 71.50 is what I'm looking at. Ultimately, 71 if you want to be a little looser. And these exponentials rising up here are good supports as well for longer term. But for kind of the short term way that I'm playing this right now, I'm looking at about 71.50 on a daily. I do not want it to close below that. But just to be reminded that we are bullish on the oscillators on the longer time frames, on daily at least. We haven't been up in that arena for quite some time, so for like a couple of months. So I think that is noteworthy. We only have one kind of candle with some decent daily volume on it, and it's this one here and this one here, and they're literally at opposite ends of price. So we're probably just more range bound, guys, popping in here for a little bit longer until the end of the year, which is 64 to 78, which is tradable. It's very tradable. All right, it's getting late. I'm gonna talk to you guys tomorrow. This has been No Noise Research with Z-Rex, signing off. Much love, happy trading, stay disciplined, peace.